Hello, everybody. Hi, IT Nation. How you doing? This is Sean Lardo, the Economy Evangelist here at ConnectWise. Thanks for tuning in for another ConnectWise Invent Certified Integrated series. We decided to put this series on to start to highlight the importance of the integrator, the vendors that are on our system, that are in our community, that act as certified integrators. What this means and the importance behind it is this. For MSPs that are looking for stack alignment and what they're going to purchase, they like to see that there's something that says that, hey, these companies have been vetted. So ConnectWise does that through a series of things. One is them reinvesting into the community and the ecosystem. Secondly, most importantly, though, for them is that they've gone through a series of certification checks to make sure that they're covered between security, they integrate properly, they actually match up with the business needs of the MSP. So hence certified integrators. Now, with that said, the goal to highlight them is to start to bring them on so you get a better chance to know them, the founders, the VPs, whoever it may be, understand what their go-to-market is, understand what they're doing for the space, why they do what they do, how they do what they do. It makes things a little more familiar. And we do open this up to questions. So this is a live event. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat as we go. Now, again, this is not about us. This is not about ConnectWise. This is about them. So without further ado, I want to get started in this. We have two companies that are constants in the space. You see them almost everywhere at this point. And they become very, very quickly become fan favorites amongst MSPs. So first, we're going to bring on from Matic, Corey Munson. He's the VP. Good afternoon, Corey. How are you, man?
Hey, Sean. Good to see you again.
Hey, you know what? Where are you? That's what I want to know.
I am in Iowa. So right in the middle of the country. I got forced out of my usual office. So I'm sitting in the public library talking to you and the ConnectWise community.
Lovely. So you are in a public library.
Yeah. I'm not sure I've been in a public library in quite some time. So
I can't say that I have either, but but it's nice. It's the life of a traveler, man. You end up doing things from random places.
Anywhere, right?
Absolutely. So let's talk a little about you guys. Let's talk about Matic and what you're doing. So for those people that haven't had a chance to meet you all, what does Matic do?
Well, Matic's been around for more than 25 years now, which is kind of surprising to some people. Some people know us as the consumer product they see advertised on TV as an antivirus solution. Many in the MSP community over the past 5-6 years have grown to know us as an allow listing solution, where we specifically focus on allow listing technology and giving MSPs the ability to easily deploy and manage at scale an allow listing application control type of solution. I've been here going on 17 years, so I've seen a little bit of everything, but probably the most exciting thing I work on a day-to-day basis is working with our MSP partners across the world, quite literally. So I look forward to talking to them any chance I get.
Awesome. So, typically we dig into the product and what the product does. What I would like to know is, and what partners know is, you said it, like working with MSPs. How do you guys actually work with MSPs?
We're still small enough and nimble enough that we like to work with them one at a time. As I'm guiding my team through how we develop these relationships with our MSP partners, our preference is to try to get to know the MSPs personally, understand what their business goals are, what they're trying to equip their teams to go out and do, and then build a strategy to grow together one by one. Instead of approaching with a cookie cutter solution that we're going to offer to everyone, what we prefer to do is really figure out a unique approach for each MSP partner we work with. What they're trying to equip their teams to go out and do, and then build a strategy.
Do you hear that?
Together.
So we got some feedback. You're still talking.
It sounded great, though.
It really does sound good. Repetition is the key to actually having it be ingrained and indoctrinated. So I appreciate that.
And then build a strategy.
Do you hear that? Wow. Yeah. So we got some feedback. You're still talking. This is crazy.
It sounded great, though.
Amazing how this is. How do we stop this? Mute and unmute.
Repetition is the key to actually having it be ingrained.
How are we doing now, Sean?
It just keeps repeating itself.
This is crazy.
I'm going to close out. I'm coming back.
How do we stop this?
Everybody hang tight. You hang tight too. Back. All right, let's see what happens now.
That was kind of fun, Sean.
That was it just kept going over and over again, right? I don't know how that was, but that was pretty cool. I now understand about your go-to-market strategies, so I appreciate that. Thank you for reinforcing it.
It just drilled it right into your head.
You totally did. You totally did. So, I think that's an oh, good question. Are you currently on the ConnectWise marketplace?
That was kind of fun, Sean. That was it just kept going over and over again, right? I don't know how that was, but that was pretty cool. I now understand about your go-to-market strategies. So I appreciate that.
Amazing.
Thank you for reinforcing.
This is great.
It just drilled it right into your head.
We're gonna see. I'm gonna unplug things. Let's see what happens.
You totally did.
All right, and we're back. Totally, very much about technology, business continuity. It is life working from home, that's for sure. So thank you for being patient. I feel bad because we literally were in the middle of probably one of the best conversations we've had about go to markets with vendors and MSPs and whatnot, and was repeated about 15 times, probably due to myself. But thank you for being patient. Without further ado, I think we already heard enough from Corey for the moment. So let's bring up our next. Let's bring up our next our next guest, and that is Mike. I know, right? Super duper, right? The CEO for Moovila, Mike. We want to bring him up next. Jess, if you're still there, thank you. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, you can't get any worse than me and Corey just now. So we've set the bar low, and everybody can be pleasantly surprised. So, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. I had my laptop just completely rebooted on me. It was amazing.
Oh man,
I know, right?
it still happens 30 years later, you know.
Right? And
All
it's
the
not like I
jokes
don't.
about PCs and having to, like, if an auto manufacturer ever did this and blue screen of death.
I mean, if it was going to happen to anybody, I feel like I'm the most deserving of it. So it's perfect. So, without further ado, let's talk more about you guys. I want to talk about Moovila, but before we start talking about Moovila, I want to address the elephant in the room of, what's the code of conduct? And for those watching, should vendors beat any of their partners in any kind of competition whatsoever, or should they graciously on purposely lose to their partners to make them happy?
They should almost certainly lose to make them happy, but lose in a way that makes it look like you were breaking a sweat and really trying.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So
apparently I heard someone simulating or impersonating one of our employees. Someone was impersonating Vince Jajuga at an event that apparently won false flag operation. I'm pretty sure it was a false flag operation when he beat the customer. So we're going to try to find out who did that.
Well, luckily we have pictures of them there. I'm sure we can find.
I know they're deep fakes. It really looks like Vince.
I mean, it looked just like Vince when I was standing next to him getting the picture taken with him.
Yeah,
with his
it was a pretty impressive deep fake.
Can we just point that out that, so not mentioning names like Vince, but it could have been Vince that showed up at our Chicago user group event, and we had a cornhole tournament, and I mean, we even discussed this, and he said, "I'm not backing down. They should lose." And he showed everybody what was up, and then he graciously, in front of everybody, said, "Thank you all for making this possible."
He struck his head on a median on the way into that event. In his defense, I know that we've got him in concussion protocol, which we always do to make sure that all of our salespeople are safe.
I love it. All right, so let's talk about Moovila.
Yeah.
So tell us about it. Like, what you're the CEO. Why did you do this?
So right, yeah, like the world needs yet another work and project management platform. So we started Moovila because we knew, project and work management is one of the older segments in technology today, and really what we saw was a lot of frustration and inefficiency and an opportunity for AI and automation to solve a lot of those problems. And so, our goal was to set out to bring a level of automation and AI into project and work management so people could focus on the qualitative components of their work and not chasing calendars and schedules and people's availability and what their capacity is and what delays occurred across a portfolio. Because as most of your partners know, projects rarely go off as expected. They just rarely go off as expected. And in a large portfolio of work, that can wreak havoc on utilization rates, capacity, and that ultimately damages margin. And so our goal ultimately was to deliver an automated solution for partners so they could maximize efficiency and margins. It's such a margin-heavy business, and focusing around improving those margins, that efficiency for their business, and managing customers' expectations.
I feel like projects going off without a hitch is kind of like my diet plan that I never do. I have a plan that I talked about. I downloaded the app. I went to the grocery store, and it still didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, and Sean, you would probably feel that the probability of that diet plan working is low, but I can promise you in a large scale project, statistically, the probability of that project going off without a hitch is like 0.001%, something we call the project paradox. But it's so grotesquely unlikely, even if your engineers and your customers perform at a 95 to 98% on time rate, a large enough project, the probability is just terrible. And so, like I said, it's sort of something's going to go wrong, and how much it goes wrong and how much that impacts scheduling and resource management, that's the dumpster fire that most people face on a daily basis, just trying to deal with that headache of what are the dates today? What are they supposed to be? Where are we supposed to be? And it's just not possible for people to do that on their own. You need automation in that process. So that's our goal, and that's what we're doing in the marketplace, is automating and just radically kind of improving the accuracy of that information. So margins, finance, all that information is information you can trust now, as opposed to being skeptical.
Yep. No. Okay. So I want to bring back Corey onto this, because I feel like as far as conversations are concerned, I want to go on that AI threshold conversation. I do want to talk about that, and considering they talk about cybersecurity a lot too, which happens to be one of the big talk points. I want to blend this all together in a way, because I think it's that way we get three different. My perspective doesn't matter. It's more about you guys. You're the smarter ones, especially Corey, because he knows how to be in a public library and still do a live stream better than I do from my own house studio. So, which dumpster fire all day. Anyway, so welcome back, Corey.
There's a joke about echo chamber somewhere in here, Sean. I haven't figured it out, but
well played, sir. So let's talk about this now, okay? We were just started talking about the artificial intelligence aspect of this, right? And we've all heard the good and the bads, right? I feel like there's extremes. It's either great or it's disastrous, right? That's what I hear. There's no in between. So coming back around to the AI piece, how does AI fit into? And Mike, we'll keep with you for a minute. How does it fit into your scheme here? How does it fit into the product? Like, what does it do exactly?
Yeah, so there are two components of AI that we look at, and we've talked about sort of this concept of white box AI and black box AI. So I think a lot of the AI a lot of people are familiar with today, or that's really in the news, is the generative AI stuff, ChatGPT, a lot of those generative models and process, which are really popular and are really powerful, can do a lot of things. And we've got black box and generative components in our platform and coming in our platform, but we also have what we'll call a white box AI interpretable. And that is where you understand why the decisions are being made. You can explore and lift the hood up. And we're using that technology to help forecast projects, understand risks, problems, capacity issues, resource issues, and using those robust mathematical models in that process and allowing our customers to sort of interpret the results, right? One of the challenges for different AI components is whether or not you can understand and trust the results. Like I said, we know in the black box stuff, there's a lot of value there, but unfortunately, we don't always know exactly why those answers are there. So we use a combination of both white box and black box AI to help autonomously monitor and manage those projects, but also give customers insight into what they need to do within the application of their jobs and their roles.
Got it. So Corey, on to you even. Since you guys focus on how to evaluate cybersecurity tools and everything else, like, and this being a topic of concern now, and I'm leaving it to you, from what even was just said there, what is your take on that from what Mike said?
I've got two takes on it. One, I think there's big opportunities, obviously, to make cybersecurity more effective with AI, and it's been ongoing. I mean, this isn't necessarily new on the cybersecurity side of things, but to flip to the the dark side of the conversation, you've got people like Chris Krebs, former director of CISA, just this week, suggesting that AI is as big a threat to national security as China is. So just like you alluded to earlier, Sean, there's extremes here from an AI perspective. And I think somehow we're going to have to be able to find the balance, because the efficiencies that it offers are too great to possibly discount. But at the same time, there are legitimate security concerns that we've got to get our arms around.
Sure.
and decide exactly how we find that balance.
Are you building any type of AI into your offering, Corey?
I can tell you we're always looking at more efficient ways to help classify what belongs globally on an allow list, and AI is definitely part of that conversation.
Good. Okay. I think it's important. Part of the things we just wrapped up the pitch it preliminaries just a few weeks ago, right? We announced the finalists, and one of the contestants, they're not a finalist, actually talked about how they leveraged AI and but the concern they had was AI out of the box was a challenge for people who were concerned and what was going to be created, because they actually use it for scripts. They use it for sales and marketing content and everything else, which is great, but they did it in a controlled environment. They had to actually literally create their own sandbox for their own AI, and they feed it with all good stuff. So it was pretty eye-opening for me to think about it that way, because I thought of AI as Google. Same way I see Google, I see ChatGPT. Almost, right? Same rules apply. So I thought it was important to talk about it, and again, every MSP I know talks about it, and they're all concerned. They're all scared of what's going to happen next. Some are excited. The ones that are truly embedded into it and are the early adopters, they're very much in it. But enough of that. Let's go and talk about. I do want to talk about this though. You guys are both in the economy or in the ecosystem. You guys are both in the marketplace. What made you guys take that journey? I will start with Mike first.
Yeah, well, so we're really excited to be in that ecosystem because it's an opportunity to sort of extend the functionality of what exists within the ConnectWise ecosystem today. We know, obviously, and Sean, you've said this, that you can't be all things to all people, right? And allowing other organizations to extend that functionality and manage it, obviously around work and project management with Perfect Project, that's our goal, is to sort of extend for those organizations that need more robust automated project management and plug into that ecosystem and allow them to leverage their existing data. I think that's one of the best things, and I think the partners love, is that there isn't double entry, right? They're not having to manage that information. All of the assets that they have in play in their existing ConnectWise ecosystem can be leveraged immediately, and they can extend and get more information, more analytics, and extend that functionality without, once again, having to deal with double entry in that process. So it's been a great process for us to go through, and I think the partners and the joint partners that we have in that process love that aspect of that integration, to be able to extend their ecosystem in areas that they want more automation, more efficiency.
Absolutely. And I'm just curious about this too, because I definitely want to, Corey, I want to bring you into this too. Looking at not just why you're part of our ecosystem, why you've invested, and this is to Corey, but you help with the alignment and the evaluation and whatnot. And project management also requires the alignment of the right technologies, right? I mean, we're talking about people, process, technology across the board. So with that, is there a time between you two? Do you guys talk about integrations or how you guys could collaborate together, aside from ConnectWise ecosystem, but you two companies? Has there ever been a conversation?
I can't say there has been. Can't
I'm
say
like
there
the
never
dating game.
will be. But
I'm like the dating game. See, this is what
Yeah.
I bring good people together, So no, just because I'm thinking about this, because as far as projects, why projects don't do well coming off the board is either the technology's not aligned, the processes aren't ready, the people aren't right, whatever it is. There's a litany of things, that variables that be involved with resources, right? Technologies being one of the biggest parts, and I don't care what side of the house you're on, but where would you fit into there, Corey, in that regard?
Let me take a step back to the ecosystem piece of it, because I think this was a logical step for us, because if you look at historically, allow listing has typically been dismissed as a big pain in the ass to deploy and to manage. And what we were hearing from our MSPs was, okay, makes sense. It's the gold standard endpoint security, but you better make it efficient for me, or else I'm not going to be able to use it. And as we got down that road, we could only make our product itself and our platform so efficient, where we had to take that next step to be able to integrate with ConnectWise to make it even more efficient and more usable for even the smallest of MSPs. So the ecosystem, I mean, the step there was just logical for us. And we're going to be constantly on the lookout for ways to make it even more efficient and more practical, because we realize the average MSP is 8-9 employees. Their time's important, and the last thing they need is another shiny object that somebody signed up for that nobody knows how to use or has the time or resources to invest in. So,
I've never heard that before, that they don't know how to use it or they don't do with it.
Imagine that.
But I like that. So you said 8 people and the time is valuable, right? So that's why, and this is a great segue into talk about autonomous project monitoring and management, which is something you guys are focused on Moovila, right?
Yeah. So the best way to think about APMM is sort of like it's RMM for projects. And obviously, for the vast majority of MSPs and MSSPs, the idea of managing customer sites without RMM would be pretty expensive and pretty risky. And that same concept exists for work and project, right? It's just like it's not possible for a remote MSSP or MSP to manage all of their customers' devices efficiently. It's really not ideal to try to manage a portfolio of projects manually. And so this concept of APMM, autonomous project monitoring and management, is an emerging trend around all the automated technologies to monitor, observe, remediate, recast that work and projects as changes occur, as they go through in that model. And as time goes forward, this is going to be more of a table stakes kind of thing for organizations, just because of the efficiency it affords organizations, and ultimately it drives better quality in data for reporting and provides and allows for real-time reporting and analytics on margins, efficiency, operations. Once again, the chaos that ensues with unautomated work management means it damages scheduling, damages resourcing, damages all your margin calculations, makes them late. It's just there's a whole host of things that it poisons downstream. So this emerging APMM concept is allowing organizations, once again, sort of the same way they did, long ago, there was no such thing as RMM. And everybody had to check devices and manually and go and check them physically. And obviously, with the advent of that process, it massively improved the efficiency and the competitiveness and the margins around that. So it's a concept that we're excited that we align our organization to very strongly around, because we know that emerging trend and process is going to be a big deal in this space.
Got it. So okay, and well, you mentioned, and I think this is an important piece about margins, proven margins. And I'm going to flip over to Corey about this too, because one of the core things about you guys is being able to diagnose common computer problems, right? Which leads to tons more problems when you don't diagnose it the right way. So how does that interject? How does that combine? How does that connect with what actually Mike just said about evenness? How do you guys save money for partners? How do you make MSPs more effective? What do you do that makes that so impactful?
Really, it's coming down, efficiency, right? It's the magic word. It's every other word we've said here today. What we're able to do as part of a security stack is make the other tools more efficient, whether it's your antivirus, your EDR, your XDR, your firewalls, your cybersecurity awareness training. In a lot of cases, the way we work in conjunction with an EDR or XDR solution, we can cut out a lot of the noise that's getting fed into those products that just lead to more and more work. So for us, it's been able to make that overall security stack a more efficient and more effective platform for the MSPs we work with. And then cut to the fact that, if you look at it on a per endpoint basis, there are big margin opportunities with what we're doing at less than $1 per endpoint per month. I mean, we're not talking about breaking the bank to add something that's considered the gold standard for endpoint security. So.
Fair. Now, Corey, sticking with you, do you align to other technologies as well within the space that you partner up with, or that you integrate with?
Absolutely, we're working very closely with a lot of the EDR, XDR type of solutions there to integrate data feeds and to be able to feed our data into those platforms, and we're actively involved in conversations with others. The technology is critical. Have any sort of conversation around compliance these days, and you're going to hear something about zero trust, you're going to hear something about application control and the need for it to be in place. So any number of folks are trying to figure out how they fold our technology into what they're doing too. Got
it. So, okay. So when you're working with the technologies and even like we come back to our ecosystem, do you have a vetting process you're going through of who you strategically align with? And do you provide any kind of expert opinion to your partners as to what makes sense for them, because the cybersecurity is a layered approach, and we know that. And there's a lot of ambiguity I realized over the years with cyber. It still hasn't been fully fleshed out as far as I'm concerned. But do you then also give them, hey, here's the categories you should associate yourself with as far as providing the security?
Yeah, it's defense in depth, right? That's nothing new. I'm a believer in layered security, but there are some layers that are better than others, and some companies that are capable of delivering a better layer than others. So we're more than happy to have those conversations. I think if you take a look at where we're aligning in terms of partnerships and technology integrations, it speaks to who we think are probably better than others. But we're always happy to have that conversation about which layers and what gaps exist for MSPs.
Absolutely. Okay. I want to dive in a little bit to the way you and I started talking about Corey before you repeated it 15 times to me earlier. And the manner in which you guys work with partners, right? Because the big conversation point, take away technologies and what your offering is, because once they start understanding that, that's one part of the conversation. The other part is, how do you work with us? How do you make us successful, right? And you already talked about, you go through some sort of strategic, assessment on what to do. But what does a partner program really look like for you guys? And I'm going to go to Mike on this one first. How do partners work with you? What's the channel program look like? What are the roles and responsibilities and engagement and whatnot?
Yeah, are you talking about when we engage our joint partners?
No, with MSPs, even just your MSP program itself.
Okay. Yeah. So I think a lot of our partners, customers will say that one of the best features of our platform is our operations team. So there is very much a hand-holding process to onboard organizations and help them elevate capabilities and competencies around work and project management. And obviously, the size and scope of the partners that we're working with are everything from small, as you said, several person shops, all the way up to much larger shops. And different organizations are at different stages of their digital transformation of how they work. Our operations team, when we onboard customers into that process, we meet them where they're living today and help them understand the roadmap towards automation in this process and how that can help drive better margins, better accountability, and better customer experience. So that's part of when we look at our technology and our process and bring our customers onto our platform. It's about learning that organization and where they are and helping them digitally transform, because it's only through that transformation process can they really, once again, make more money, drive better margins, and get a better customer experience.
Digital transformation, you said now twice.
Yeah.
It's, again, another word that everybody's like, that became a famous buzzword, especially once COVID took place, right? So what is your definition of digital transformation in this regard for them?
So in this regard, it's going from all the other solutions that you manage projects and tasks, which are basically big shared lists, right? They're all these really big shared lists that we all talk about, but there isn't autonomous integrity inside of those. So the digital transformation is not going from some cases maybe pen and paper, but it's not going from pen and paper to a digital process, but it's changing that digital process, automating and ensuring integrity. And not to geek out too much, but the best way to think about it is there isn't a programmer in the world that could write software without a debugger. They couldn't do it. The best ones in the world make mistakes, and they depend on that debugger to tell them that they made a stupid mistake. They got to correct that mistake before they can compile. But all of our work plans and all the project plans that every put out, we just assume they're perfect. They nailed everything. They got a 10. Even the Russian judge would give them a 10. And the reality is they're all broken, horribly broken. And it's the truth. Over 99% of all project and work plans have fundamental structural flaws and problems in them. They're not debugged. And so this digital transformation is to go, wow, are we really not vetting all of these plans in this portfolio? And it can't be done manually. It's got to be done automatically. And so this is the digital transformation, right? And once again, this is a white box AI interpretable. So it's not guesswork and you're not going, I wonder if it's right. You can actually unpack and see the details, see the flaws, learn and manage that process. And AI is the guide rails, or as folks and customers will say, it's sort of like those rails when you go bowling to prevent you from throwing a gutter ball. That's an effective use of AI where it's white box, interpretable, and prevents you from making stupid mistakes. So we're really passionate about that component of digital transformation. Once again, different organizations have a different appetite to make those changes and how much they want to assume to start to go into that process. But I will tell you in the future, we're not just going to trust PMs and people that create plans and go, yeah, we assume it's perfect. You're saying that's going to be due on April 14th. Yeah, I believe it. There's 1,000 tasks in it. It's not possible. So mistakes are made all the time. They're preventable risks, just like, Corey's product and what they're doing. They're trying to manage preventable risks. They're going, hey, like, we're going to help you identify these really stupid preventable risks. You should use this tool and technology. And we're trying to do the same thing. We're saying, hey, you have a lot of preventable risks that are going to wreak havoc on your business. Do the best you can to try to prevent those risks so you can go towards your qualitative measures.
All right, perfect. So let's come back to then, and actually across the bottom of the screen, real quick, there was a blog you guys put out about this autonomous, embracing it. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of it. Again, I love you going back to COVID because I felt like that was the pivotal turn for everybody. Everybody had to embrace digital. They all had to embrace cloud. They all had to embrace the actual working from remote everything, which changed our entire workforce. Which I would only imagine for both of you made you guys probably a lot more successful or that much more impactful in the space as an offering. And I don't know, and Corey, I'll go to you on this too, because back to working with partners and whatnot, did you see an increase over the last couple of years as a result of this pivot that took place?
We definitely did. And, the irony is in the 25 years we've been in business, have always been a virtual company. All 70 employees are virtual. We've never had a headquarters. So we just hit the ground running when the world stopped spinning there for a while. But it also gave us better perspective about how to deal with partners that were going through this and trying to address those challenges. So in some cases, we became a resource, not from just a cybersecurity perspective, but from an organizational, functional perspective in a weird, twisted world. So,
yep, absolutely. So I want to make sure we got to talk about a couple of things before we get in, because we're in the last 5-10 minutes of this. You both will be at IT Nation Connect.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep, we're booth 814, I think.
Booth 920.
Wow. I will be at all booths. That's where I will be. I will be at your guys' booths also. So is there anything we should be expecting to see out of you guys while there? Anything that you want to acknowledge that we, any kind of promotions, any kind of happiness, any kind of, hey, I'll buy drinks at the bar?
Yes.
Corey, I'll let you go first.
Yes to all of the above. Absolutely.
Perfect.
I'll second that. Yeah, we will definitely open the tabs on that. We're really excited to meet the community and just talk more about how we can help them with their businesses.
So we actually have, we're doing I think we have a discount for $50 off. You can go on for, yes, there it is. IT Nation Social 50, ITN Social 50. You get $50 off registration. So make sure you check it out. You guys can still register. We're a month and 10 days away, approximately, maybe 12 days away, give or take. So when we see you guys there, again, so back to the bar and back to buying drinks, because that's what everybody wants to know about. Are you guys really going to take them out for drinks? I know I'll be hanging out with you all for the whole time. And
are we outside of hurricane season though, Sean? We dealt with that, 2 years ago? So
IT Nation Connect is during the same time every year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always hurricane season. However, we still had over 4,500 people there last year during hurricane season.
Right.
So during a hurricane, even. The way I see it for you all, the importance is it means nobody can leave if there's a hurricane. So once they're there, you guys have their undivided attention.
We'll take that.
I feel like maybe, Mike, if I were you, you should probably bring cornhole boards.
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like there's some repair that has to be done. I think Vince is going to have to,
Yeah.
Maybe we can put him in like a dunk tank and give people paintball guns too.
I have an immediate image of having paintball guns, but Vince doesn't get one.
Exactly. No, that's what I mean. Yeah, we blindfold him, and he can try to defend blindfolded with cornhole bags.
I think that'd be great. That would be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I think there's if you guys are up to doing this stuff, I think it's important if we can create some sort of collaborative meeting place that we all hang out. Vince sits in the middle, but actually no, enough about Vince. But if we have a get together, because I think partners would love to be able to just sit there with you guys in a non-intrusive manner, have a drink, and not talk about business until it arises. But
Yep.
more, that's why I like cornhole or darts or anything, shooting pool, whatever it is, playing freaking Scrabble. It doesn't really matter. It changes the whole entire dynamic.
Yeah. Love that idea.
So you guys can buy really good bourbon or scotch, because that's what me and Louie like. And cigars, because that's what I like. And the MSPs everybody will do the same thing. And
Bring
we'll
a
call
couple
it.
bottles of Macallan 18 and
See, now you're talking. You get it. Like, seriously. All right, Corey, what do you have to offer? I mean, Mike's already put his bid in. What's yours?
Auction. Give me some time on that one. But
did he say Pappy? Did he say he was going to bring some Pappy?
Pappy, I mean, you know what? That is a great idea, Corey. Pappy, yes. I mean, it's only, I don't even know what it's even going for these days.
Couple of
I
grand.
know.
Like, to get them off market, it's like $2,500 for a bottle of that now. It's crazy.
I know. I live in PA. It's a Commonwealth state, and they make you can apply for the lottery to buy it. It's
Wow.
and then to buy it is from the liquor store, and I think it's still like $1,400.
Oh, really? It's not like the retail of like $300 or $400. It's still.
I think it's like up there. I stopped looking. It became ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a law of diminishing returns. I was just sad every time.
Yeah.
So Corey, that's what you're getting. Perfect. I'm sure we got some sites.
hey, we'll cover the other end of the spectrum. We'll buy hurricanes for everyone in the spirit of the
Nice.
season, right?
Nice.
I mean, not everyone's a bourbon snob, right? So
Fine. All right.
Okay.
Fine, Corey. Fine. All right. That's well played, Corey. It was hurricanes. It is. Again, I think as long as we have an event or a get together, and I think we should seriously think about getting together, like in the evening when nothing's going on, and have the partners come up and hang out. It isn't already midday even. Create some sort of great environment for them to come hang out other than just a booth.
Year in, year out, those are the most productive sessions of them all, I think.
I agree. I've done my best business in the most unpredictable places. Where nothing was going on, it wasn't expected. We just started hanging out. Actually, I closed one of the largest MSPs I ever worked with by doing that years ago. Just sitting. I didn't even know we had no idea. I was at a bar here in Pittsburgh, and we were just talking about the Steelers, and they were really bad that year, and I was very sad, and he was very sad. I think we counseled each other more, and we basically hugged and said it's okay, and then we did business together. It was amazing.
They're not Chicago Bears bad. They weren't Chicago Bears bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know. Corey, who are you a fan of? Since we now established that Mike is a fan of a losing team.
I'm a Vikings fan, and if you saw how they lost the third game of the season this past Sunday,
Yes,
at home,
Brutal.
absolutely brutal.
Brutal.
Oh,
the Bears are playing the Broncos, who just lost by 70.
It's true.
And my God, if they get pounded by them, it's.
And the Dolphins took a knee. They could have scored more
know.
points. So
Yeah. Well, they
felt
mercifully only scored 70.
yeah.
I mean, well, the Colorado area got blown out over the weekend from college and
Yeah.
NFL. Let's be honest. It was a humbling weekend for the whole state. A very humbling weekend. So, you know what? We could talk on and on. I know we got to wrap this up, and unfortunately, 10 minutes was my fault because apparently I entered into the dumpster fire region of technology. Thank you for recovering for me. I appreciate you guys being patient. And also I look forward to seeing you guys coming up into IT Nation Connect. Will you guys be anywhere? Now I know PC Matic I see at the ASCII events. I just saw last week PC Matic guy at ASCII. Is there anywhere else I would see you guys?
You'll see us at Channel Pro events as well.
Oh yeah. I will be at Channel Pro in 2 weeks in Atlanta.
And there's one coming up in California.
Yes, the defense one. Yes, yeah. I know. Moovila, I know, Mike, you guys sponsor a lot of ConnectWise stuff. Anything else we will see you guys at?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you looking at Kate? Do you want to bring Kate on so she can tell us where you're going?
Yeah, I guess I could swing her around. As I said, ASCII DC and then Next Gen in Houston.
I think it'd be a good thing if you had Kate involved, because I know she wants to be on this camera so bad. I think it'd just be amazing. She's listening to me too, isn't she? Yeah, I'll probably get a text soon. All right, I'm sorry, Kate. I won't make it come on. If you guys want to hear anything else about these guys, you can find them in our marketplace. You can also visit their websites, which we had scrolling down the banner before. They will also be at IT Nation Connect. They will also be at either a user group meetup or they will be at Channel Pro events, which you can see me there as well. But again, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for staying patient with me. Appreciate it. And thank you, IT Nation, for staying patient with me as well on my dumpster fire. I will see you all soon.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for
Thanks,
having
guys.
us on.
Doodles.
Appreciate it, Corey. Thanks.